Welcome to the Not So Kind Regards podcast. I'm Maddy Birdcage.
And I'm Caroline Moss.
We are done with the digital fluff and pleasantries.
And we're here to talk straight about brand building, digital marketing, and personal growth.
This episode is, of course, brought to you by Birdcage Marketing, the marketing agency who's unashamedly better. Strategies, one-on-one mentoring, branding, websites, and more. We're the smart marketers for brands who are meant for more. If you're ready to work with the best, book a discovery call via our website, birdcagemarketing.com.au. Now, back to the episode.
Hey, Maddy.
Hey, Cara.
Welcome back for another episode of Not So Kind Regards podcast.
Thank you. What are we talking about today?
Today, we are going to give an inside look at just how much money our Evergreen funnel for the Birdcage Marketing School is making us. How would you quantify the amount of money that it's made us so far?
Shitload.
I love it.
It's actually mind-blowing to see just how much our funnel for Birdcage Marketing School has brought in, because we haven't even been trying.
No, we've been testing, we've been starting to get some momentum, but I'm really excited to see what the rest of the year has for us.
For sure. And the fact that when I looked up how much ad spend we've actually allocated, we've only spent just over 10,000 Australian dollars on ads. We've only been running ads since mid-December last year. The school launched at the end of August last year. So it's just about 8 months now that it has been live. And our funnel for the school has brought in just over $400,000 worth of sales.
Amazing.
Which is huge, which is like, that's what the agency was bringing in some years. Love to break this down further and look at the bare minimum we've been doing, because I do really feel as though this is so achievable for every business, every brand to be replicating.
And it just shows you the power of using platforms to their strengths and using them together and nailing your marketing messaging, and showing you also that it's all a testing ground and it's something to build on as well. And so this is just a start for us. So
absolutely
started.
This is practice. This is preseason. We haven't even, I don't know, sports talk, American sports talk. We're not even in the big leagues yet.
What I also think is great about our funnel is that, one, it's evergreen. So it's just running all the time. There's no launches and closes. But we still use urgency and scarcity and little launch periods to create injections of cash. So I'm really excited to share those little strategies with everyone as well.
That is definitely something I've learned, that if you want to make sales, there has to be urgency or scarcity there. Okay, so scarcity is just when there's not much of something. Buy now because we've only got 3 left. Urgency is when the thing is not going to be around forever. So it's a time factor. So they may be unlimited amounts, but you're not going to get it forever. Either way, what it is, it's a deadline on the thing that you're offering. And if I've ever tried to sell without urgency or scarcity in the mix, results are very crap.
Because people don't have a reason to buy. They're like, oh, I can take my time. I can procrastinate. We love to procrastinate. But if you give me a reason, and you tell me that I'm going to risk missing out and I'm going to spend more money for something that I really want, but I'm just dragging my feet on, then I'm going to take action.
Definitely. Scarcity works really well on me.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we first moved to Mackay and I looked at a rental and there was all these people there, and the agent was like, well, there's so many people and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, we need it now.
So the moral of the story is there, hire all your friends to come to an open house.
Exactly.
Do we want to dive into the structure of our funnel to start?
Yeah. Okay. So what our Birdcage Marketing School funnel looks like, it is driven by top of funnel. It is driven by my personal brand TikTok. It is driven by our organic Instagram marketing. And as of December, we are also now running meta ads to a free webinar, which then directly sells them. And we have then at middle of funnel, we still use all of our organic socials as well. So Instagram, my TikTok. We also use Instagram stories a lot. And we also use our email list to nurture. And then at the bottom of funnel, it's the same channels. It's Instagram, it's TikTok, it's meta ads. and it's email. But we are always making sure that there is scarcity or urgency included there.
Mm-hmm. And so those are the platforms we're using at every stage of the funnel. But then let's break down some of the messaging for each of those.
I mean, the way that we've structured our funnel is that our Instagram and my TikTok, it's actually the top of funnel for all of our offers. And that is a really time-effective way of doing it. And it also, we have thought about splitting up, separate accounts for the school and everything, but it's kind of like, let's focus on getting this right. Let's focus on just optimizing like a couple of accounts.
And simplifying
it. Yeah. Because the reality is, what you just need to understand is your product pathway, for us, the school, mentoring, and then done for you agency, it is actually the same client, just at different stages of their journey. If it was that they were completely separate audiences, that's when I would look at splitting up different accounts for different funnels. But because we're literally speaking to the same type of person, just at different stages, the top of funnel content can remain the same. And so at the top of funnel, what we always need to focus on, and this is based on our new frameworks within the method in Birdcage Marketing School, and this is how we've been writing strategies for a long time, but we need to focus on audience schemas, which is a tool that we use inside our strategies. We need to focus on brand archetype messaging, which is another tool inside our strategies, and we focus on identity-based transformation messaging. So speaking to the person that your audiences are trying to become.
And where does pain point messaging fit into that?
I don't know.
I see it as we're speaking to like the gain points, the transformation when we speak to the identity rather than just focusing on pain points.
Yeah, pain point marketing alone, low vibe.
But you have to understand the pain points to then be able to speak to them getting out of the pain.
Absolutely. And if anything, I think the pain point stuff kind of just comes in at that bottom of funnel on the sales page. Like, do you struggle with blah, blah? Do you feel this? Do you... And it's like, they're just kind of some dot points that you add in rather than having an entire... Are you a small business owner who struggles with creating content? Like, who...
Yeah, that's generic.
Yeah, boring. But if I'm saying something like, like me doing something completely unhinged in wildcard top of funnel content, like literally showing the identity of the person that people are trying to become, which our audience, it's all about freedom, it's all about authentic, it's all about being themselves and creating success from their authentic self. Me showing up in my content doing that is going to go a lot further than me going, do you struggle with creating content? Yeah. So that's, our top of funnel messaging is all about that.
I want you to share with us a few stories of people who have told you, I know I'm in your funnel and it's fucking working.
Yeah.
And I love it and I've sold.
I love it when I get messages like that because it shows me, number one, that they're understanding what a funnel is and how the funnel works. But number two, they know they're at a sales funnel, a marketing funnel, but they're also happy to be there. And that just shows that there's value. There's still value being given there. And that's why I really don't want people to look at selling and funnels and marketing as like this evil thing where you're like tricking people or scamming people, because it's not. Because I fell down someone's funnel only yesterday morning and ended up buying like an $800 course from them very quickly within, like, it was a minimum viable funnel. They had one ad. I purchased their low ticket offer. I instantly upgraded to their upsell because I knew the value was there. And that just, he was selling to me. But you know what? I needed that. That was a solution I needed.
That reminds me, I want to mention as well. So we mentioned the like social media platforms that we're using and the website tools that we're using in our funnel, but we also have email flows set up.
Yeah.
Both from the webinar through our smaller price products. We have flows set up so that we can keep showing up, keep reminding people about other offers and have them do the selling for us.
Yeah. And that's the thing, the school was launched, like I obviously had help from my team, but it was largely driven by me for a long time. It wasn't until this year that you started helping me and Matt started helping me, and now it's more of a team-wide effort. But it's like, I want people to realize that a funnel is so achievable to be done I've made $400,000 worth of sales, largely through the majority of my own work.
Yeah.
And I'm running a completely separate agency. This isn't, well, it's my focus now, but for a long time, the agency has been my focus, and it still is 50% of my focus. So I've only got 50% of my time to really dedicate to this. So this is why when we say we're only just getting started, that's because it's like kind of been an afterthought.
What kind of mindset do you need to approach something like this? Like, you've been very, don't wait till it's perfect, get it out there. And that's what I always admire about you, because I'm an overthinker and an overplanner. So can you tell us a bit about the mindset to go in with the marketing, with the school, the offers?
Yeah. So yes, nothing needs to be perfect. It was something that I always had a lot of feedback growing up, was that Maddy rushes things. And it was from my teachers, it was from my first employer, all of those things. But it's like, you know what? It's actually my superpower. The fact that I can do 10 people's work in one day, and if I'm focused. And yes, things aren't perfect, but they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be done. I do want to acknowledge, though, that I still had resistance when I launched the first course. So not so much resistance with the school, but at the beginning of last year, when I launched the Digital Marketing Certificate, which was the course purely for other marketers, which has since evolved into the Marketing Boss Academy, MBA. When I launched DMC, I remember speaking to one of my employees at the time, and I will always be grateful to her for pushing me, because she pushed me to launch this. I was so resistant. I didn't want to launch this course, even though people were asking for it. And my goal was to sell like 4 spots. I ended up selling 8 in that first round. But I was so scared. But guess what? I didn't even have a program developed when I sold DMC.
I sold it like beta?
Well, I sold the outline and said, this is starting in a couple of weeks' time. And it's weekly live sessions. And before every live session, like, I knew what I was going to talk about, because this is what we do all the time. But it was weekly live sessions. And just the week before, I would write the content, I would present the content to the live group, and then
record it.
Yeah, and it was recorded. And so then that became future versions of DMC that then evolved into Birdcage Marketing School, that then evolved into MBA. And now we're $400,000 in.
It is such a smart way to create cash for your business really quickly without over planning, without spending months in development. Obviously, we, Birdcage, had an existing audience to launch that too.
Yeah.
So that, building your audience is the most important step of any marketing strategy, of any business building.
And I think that's why I'm so passionate about saying, if you don't know what to do, if you're at a crossroads, I was at a kid's birthday party the other day, and one of the mums there was talking about going back to work, but she didn't want to go back to work in what she was qualified in. And I'm like, just create content. Just start a channel and create content. And she honestly looked at me like I was suggesting that she starts an OnlyFans or something, because she's, what? But I just want people to get their head around the fact that that's the key. It's like, you don't need to know what you want to sell. You just need to know what you're passionate and what you're good at talking about, and start creating content around that, because then you can decide how you want to monetize it later.
And then you can understand what your audience cares about as well from looking at your content analytics.
Rather than, it's the ideal way to create a business, and it's how Gen Zs are creating businesses. They launch the channel first and speak to the audience first, and then they figure out what is a product fit.
So smart.
So smart.
I think it's funny that you mentioned that people act like you're suggesting to start an OnlyFans, because there's so much shame still around being a content creator. Like, oh, I don't want to be like an influencer. I don't want people. And I see people when I'm out and about, like taking mirror selfies, doing things, and they're doing they put it away real quick, and it's like this shameful act. And I feel like we need to step into that. It's not shameful. Like, this is a legitimate career, a legitimate business. You need to stop feeling shame about it.
I know. I believe it's I actually think it's quite sexist, this whole movement, because you think of most influencers. When you think of an influencer, you think from a woman, right? So let's just imagine if the bros were the ones leading the influencer movement. I doubt there'd be as much shame around it as there is currently. And I still do get a bit orky sometimes if I have to film in public and it takes a lot of guts to shoot in public like that. But you got to just remember, this is how I make money. Yeah. And I prefer to do it this way than other ways.
And also, people might gawk at you for a second and then they'll forget about it.
I honestly, though, believe that they're gawking at you because they wish they could do it. Like there's an element of jealousy, of envy in the mix there.
100%.
Where they wish they could be brave enough. Where if you offered to them, hey, I'll give you a ready-made channel and an influencer career, they would take it. Not everyone, but a lot of people would.
Let's talk about that mindset for a second. I've seen a few pieces of content around the internet going on about like, imagine if you couldn't fail. Imagine if you already had the audience. Imagine if you had the sales already. Is that the mindset that people need to go into when they're doing their marketing, when they're creating channels, when they're building audiences?
Yeah. So I read once from a very reputable source, and God, I wish I could remember the source. They have proven that if you believe a marketing campaign is going to be successful, it has a higher chance of being successful. And this links in with the science experiments that they did as well, where they saw that like waves, not brain waves.
Neuroplasticity?
No, it was like waves going, if they're being observed or not, the waves change shapes if they're being observed.
Like ocean waves?
No, like
brain waves.
Molecular, atomic. Not atomic. I don't know what, I sound like an idiot. I don't know what the waves are. It's like the waves are
brain waves.
No, they're not brain waves. They're like
activity waves.
Waves. Hang on. Science experiment. Waves change when being observed. Okay. It's the double slit experiment. It is particles of matter that they put through these two slits. And then the slits when they pass through the slits, they continue straight, right? If they get observed, what happens when they pass through the slits on the other side actually changes based on if people are watching or not. Wow. And so this links in with like quantum physics and manifestation and all of that. And in my mind, where manifestation starts and science starts and ends, like it's all just joining together now. And I always say, you can't see Wi-Fi, but you're connected to the internet.
Yep.
You can't see electricity. Well, you kind of can through the wires. But yeah, you can't see Wi-Fi, but it exists. If we believe that something is going to work, it has a higher chance of working.
And if it doesn't work out exactly like you expected, you have to take the mindset of, this was a great learning experience. How am I going to improve this the next time? What am I going to learn from this? Not, I'm a complete failure. Nobody likes my stuff.
I've never held that belief ever. And that's another one of my superpowers, I believe. It's that if something doesn't work, I don't get sad about it. Sometimes I'll have my minute, but I don't let that stop me. I just go, oh, well, that didn't work. Hell, let's try something else. It's not even a question in my mind, I'm a failure. Like that doesn't even come into my mind. It's just, oh, well, fuck, let's try this over here.
That's something I need to work on more.
Yeah, I think it's pretty normal. I'm starting to realize that the way that I think is really quite uncommon.
Yeah. But it's aspirational.
Well, it gets results.
It's the CEO mindset.
I just think it's like, I have a goal and you can't stop me until I make it happen. And that's what I think everyone needs to lean into and take away from this. It's just, people talk about resilience and being flexible and stuff, but it's more just stubbornness. Just be stubborn with what you want and just don't take no for an answer.
Be stubborn about the goal, but be open about the process.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So let's really simplify our funnel for people and like summarize it. So you mind if I do it?
Yeah.
So you start with building an audience. Once you have an existing audience on social media, you drive them to the offer. Now, if you have a bit of a traffic problem, that's where you amplify with ads. You need to make sure your capturing their information that you're spending time, money, energy on with that traffic through email marketing, through lead magnets, whether they're paid or free, through webinars where it's collecting their data. So we want traffic, we want something to collect the data, and then we want other platforms to keep showing up and creating those touch points, because only a few % of our audience is ready to buy right now. But if we've got podcasts, if we've got more social media, if we've got several platforms, we've got ads retargeting, we've got email showing up for them, they're much more likely to buy. We don't know exactly how long that buyer decision period is, but analytics will start to tell us that.
Yeah.
So I hope that simplifies it for you, is that you start with the audience building, then you need to collect the data, and then you can amplify all of that and make it bigger. Now we're kind of at the point where we feel like we've got our messaging down. We feel like we've got the platforms down. Now we need to consider spending more money, create more traffic.
Yeah. The stage we're in right now is awareness. We need more people in our funnel because the offer is solid. We know that the offer is solid. We know that we are resonating, but it's more, how do we reach more people? That is the question that's on my mind constantly at the moment. And so that's why we're branching out and doing things like PR and collaborations and leveraging other people's audiences because we know once they're in our funnel, they love being there.
Yeah. So build the thing that's going to convince people. And then once you have that, you can go out and bring more people in. But if you're constantly focusing on just bringing people in and you're not collecting or capturing them in any way, then they're just going to leave and you spend all this time and money with some results, but not as many as you could have.
Yeah.
And finally, so there was a recent report out and it splashed all over TikTok, and the title was Gen Z Broke the Marketing Funnel. We can link to the report in the show notes. But basically, it went on to break down how Gen Z is consuming and how they need more customer touch points, how they need more convincing. They want an even more robust post-purchase experience. And my takeaway was that they just described a marketing funnel. And they said Gen Z broke the marketing funnel. Well, do you have any opinions about that?
Yeah. So the article was basically saying, multi-channel, it needs to not be selling at the top of funnel. It needs experiences. People want to feel part of something, part of a movement. I'm like, no, that's just how we've been marketing for the last 5 years at least. The difference is it's like that in all of our done for you strategies, and even in some of our trainings, there's these 2 pages that shows what we think marketing is. They see the ad, they click on the ad, they buy the thing, versus what it actually is. And it's like 25 steps of jumping around, getting distracted, forgetting things, logging back in, getting retargeted, and then finally doing the thing. People have always shopped like that. I just think maybe there was less competition. Maybe as consumers we were more distracted. Less distracted, yeah. Maybe more gullible even. Yeah, I think we were less distracted. I think there were less sources for us to get advertised to from.
I mean, think about it. When we, before social media marketing, you didn't have ads popping up in your feed while you're trying to interact with friends and family. It was basically just Google ads weren't even around then.
Yeah.
How do we buy online?
SEO,
yeah. So we had to be problem aware and go search with keywords and find something that we wanted to purchase.
And you had to manually add the plus sign or use the negative or use the inverted commas. You had to really manually do it. So you had to really know what it is that you want. And that is why perhaps the funnel was shorter because you were already halfway down it.
Yeah.
You already knew you had to buy a pair of brown leather shoes.
That's what I tell my clients when they want to advertise on Google.
Yeah.
That's not something we work with them on, but I say it has a higher conversion rate, but it's got a lower reach.
Yeah. And that's where the power of social media came into play. The fact that you can, instead of waiting for an audience to be aware that they want to purchase, you create that audience.
You create the brand awareness.
Yeah.
I have so many clients when we dive into their Shopify analytics or their Google analytics, and they're like, oh, I've got so much traffic just from direct or just from, people typing in my name or my website or my brand into Google. And we go, well, that's because you're creating a really strong brand awareness on social media and everywhere that you're marketing, that people have connected that with your brand and they're looking for you directly.
Yeah. Analytics is bullshit. They don't actually it doesn't tell the truth.
No. We don't know where that brand awareness came from.
Nah.
But it shows that you're doing a good job.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to say to me, Maddy, where are we doing the best with our funnel? I'd say everywhere right now. I'd say we've got some benchmarks because I'm looking at the bottom number, which is $400,000. which, hey, I'm happy with that.
That's what, after the meta, like iOS 14.5, and we stopped being able to track things and attribute things, which we probably were over attributing anyways.
Yeah. We just have to look at things as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. So we look at things as a whole and we go, okay, well, if I take this thing away, do my results go down?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to do that. Let me add it back in.
It's just like figuring out what you're allergic to in your diet.
Yeah.
It's
You
exactly,
eliminate,
yeah.
and you slowly add.
It's exactly the same way. That is the best way to use analytics. It's, an elimination diet, essentially, and then bring it back in.
Or
the
opposite, because you want to create sales.
Yeah.
Add it all in there and then slowly take it away and
Exactly.
see what's working and what's not.
Yeah. I think what I really want people to take away is that, okay, first of all, nothing ever has to be perfect when you launch it. But a marketing funnel isn't a difficult thing to create, and you can generate a lot of money for your business. You just need to do a few things. Do a few things. Do social media, do email, and then when you're ready, add some paid ads into it. Now, we guide people through all of that, through the method, through the action, which is the full library. We take you step by step. If you're working with you for the one-on-one mentoring, that's what you guide people through. We have a very specific framework and timeline that things need to happen in. We're not launching everything at once. And I think that's why people feel so overwhelmed with, oh my God, I need to launch a funnel. No, just start making some content first. First stop, content. Second stop, get some email set up. Third stop, amplify it with ads. Make $400,000.
Yeah. Yeah, what we say is first build the audience, and then make sure your website, your emails, everything is set up so that when you start sending more traffic there, it's all robust and good to go and capturing people and converting them. And then you turn on the volume button and send that traffic through.
Yeah. Cool.
We hope you guys got a lot out of this, and remember, go build your funnel. And don't sleep on email marketing.
Yeah, do not. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Not So Kind Regards podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, we would really appreciate if you left a review on whatever streaming platform you are using. It helps us to grow as a brand new podcast and to help many more business owners and content creators reach their goals, just like we hope this brought you one step closer to yours. Remember, connect with us on TikTok at Maddy Birdcage and at Birdcage Marketing, and the same handles on Instagram again. And if you really want to learn how to work with us, make sure you head to our website and book a call. We would love to speak with you.